No matter how obscure and unknown the add-ons I find are, there's always a few people in my comment section that call me out, saying that the add-ons aren't unknown enough, or whatever. This time, I think you've gotta be so chronically addicted to the Create mod if you even know a single one of these add-ons. I specifically picked add-ons that had like under 25,000 downloads, but most of them actually ended up being sub 10k. If you're new here and clicked on this video expecting me to rank some actually well-known Create mod add-ons, I'd recommend you watch these videos instead. This one's kinda like a token episode, like an unknown mod special. And also because of that, this video is a bit shorter than the others because some of these less common mods don't really add that much content. Alright. This mod adds one single item, but my god, it might be the greatest item of all time. The most annoying thing in the Create mod is when you have to extend your item belts. The easiest way of doing this is with encased chain drives, but doing this too much will make your machines look really big and clunky, and god forbid you want to make a turn. With Create Transmission, you're able to now do everything with one item. With the new transmission chain, you can connect your belts horizontally, diagonally, and vertically, which saves you so much time and crafting, as well as looking a lot more sleek. As an added bonus, you're also able to cover these blocks up with casings just like you can for belts themselves, and the textures look so cool. Honestly, if I played with this mod in survival, I would use these chains by themselves just for decoration. This quality of life add-on is genuinely so useful, and I wish it was included in a mod like Create Connected or something. B tier. I'm gonna get so much hate for that. This is actually a really fun idea. The mod definitely doesn't take itself that seriously at all, which can be interpreted as either a good or a bad thing, but personally I actually had a lot of fun experimenting with the teas. You might think they just give you different effects, but that's actually not the case, and finding out what each one of them do was pretty exciting. I would say it was actually similar vibe-wise to older Minecraft mods, something reminiscent of More TNT or Lucky Blocks mod or something like that. It was fun just going through them and checking out what each of them do. As for practicality, you can probably guess that most of the teas are pretty pointless. Like, most of these random effects don't help you at all in a survival setting, but I will say every now and then there's genuinely an effect that I could see coming in handy. To be honest, I think the main reason you would play this mod is because it's a bit of fun, and maybe I'm a little blinded by nostalgia, but I think it's actually alright. It gives me kind of the same energy as Create Estrogen. B tier. For all my cardboard connoisseurs out there, this mod is for you. To be honest, I was gonna absolutely dunk on this mod, but then it actually started to get a little better. It adds about 7 items in total, so I'm gonna go over each one. First, this cardboard snowball thing. It is an item that exists. It's like a snowball that does a very little bit of damage. I'm not sure what you'd use this for, but it's here. Cardboard shears that break when you use them. Honestly, I have no idea what these are for. This cardboard saddle. Honestly, this is not completely useless. It essentially just gives you a recipe for saddles with this as an intermediate. This pickaxe, which gives you speed when you hold it for some reason, and it never breaks. The trade-off is that it mines really slowly. The developer says you can use it for farms, and to their credit, it's a pretty good perk of having infinite durability. The issue is that it's so slow it would probably make you go insane. But from here on out, the mod actually becomes much more interesting. It adds cardboard elytra and rockets. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you're probably quite familiar with the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of the elytra in Create. I think it's a little too strong and it kind of ruins some of the fun. This mod actually found a cool balance to it. The cardboard elytra is very cheap and works like the regular elytra, with one massive downside. It breaks after you land. This means you're really only going to use it for special occasions, like getting a nice view of your build or flying down a cliff for fun, because the alternative is carrying a bunch of these in your inventory and swapping them out every time one breaks. This is actually a really unique way of balancing this item. The cardboard rockets essentially act like regular rockets, except they only work with the elytra and cannot be set off normally, which pairs nicely with the cardboard elytra because it means you won't accidentally click the ground or something. The next item is this cardboard totem of undying. It works similar to the regular totem but gives you different effects. I actually like this because it gives the player a choice for what effects you would like to have after you cheat death, either going with extra health from the regular totem or the added agility of the new totem. Finally, it adds this cardboard ingot, which when combined at an anvil with the cardboard sword, it increases the level of knockback. From testing, I'm pretty sure this can be scaled infinitely and the XP caps out at level 10, so you can go crazy. This is actually a pretty fun addition and gives you a proper reason to craft the cardboard sword, which is pretty cool. Obviously, this mod isn't the most amazing create add-on or anything, but I actually think it does pretty well with what it has in a pretty creative way. Still though, I really can't justify putting it that high. C tier. You can probably judge by the name that this is gonna be another structure adding mod, and you'd be right. Create Structures Overhaul actually adds some pretty good structures. A lot of them honestly tick my boxes. They generate with fair and good loot, the structures themselves look good, and they don't spawn looking out of place, which is a problem with some other structure generating mods. It adds a lot of these copper structures, which are pretty cool. I personally like this greenhouse. I think the design is really cool and I like the interior. Oh, and some of them also have functional create mod contraptions, which is a really good addition. This mod does still, however, have a downside, unfortunately, that being the fact that the structures spawn really often. This is actually really annoying because other than this issue, this mod would have been great, and it's also such an easy fix. However, the spawn rates aren't something you can really ignore because they're kind of quite bad. Here I'm able to see 3 of these copper structures from one place in the air, and what's worse is that 2 of these structures are the same structure. It's actually pretty interesting because I'm still searching for the perfect create structure mod. All the mods I've reviewed so far have had at least one pretty major flaw. I guess the search continues. C tier. The creator was kind enough to provide a video for this mod, so let's watch it together. Okay, welcome to a very special episode of Tids Reacts. Okay. Dude, the 3D models look pretty cool, I can't even lie. Okay, so you can hit, project. Wait, that's actually pretty cool. The ender pearl is... That didn't look like it went very far, actually. Wait, is this even, like, better than just throwing it normally? I swear that looked like that went less distance than if you were to just regularly throw it. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe the tiers make it better. So if it's metal, it probably hits it a lot harder. Street lamps, okay. Oh, you can place them down. Wait. That's like, oh my god. Oh, you can put like a bunch of different lights in them. That's actually really cool. I like that. Oh, wait, that's actually really cool. I saw this in the mod and I was like, what could this possibly be for? Propeller leggings, reduce fall damage, and high jump. Is this just gonna give you jump boost? Oh, it's while shifting. Wait, so you can like choose when to toggle it? The super fishing rod description just says super, so consider me intrigued. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay. Most of this mod works pretty accurately to the video. The leggings are a little finicky at times. They work mostly, but sometimes you can take fall damage. I also like how you have to crouch to high jump. It means you're probably not going to accidentally trigger this unless you're like bridging or something. That would be kind of bad actually. There's also this weird feature with the syringe where for some reason the effects only apply to mobs that are hit with the sweeping edge and not the main attack. Also, there's this inconsistency for the boxing gloves where you have a lot more range in creative mode for some reason. I learned that the hard way. C tier. I think I'm missing something because I'm genuinely sitting here in disbelief that this add-on only has like 7,000 downloads. Create Missiles adds missiles into the game, but the way this is done is so cool and well integrated. It genuinely stands alongside the massive add-ons like Big Cannons and Enchantment Industry, in my opinion. You have to set up the launch pad, which has 3 main components: the control center, the navigation, and the recipe for the missile itself. You then put these blueprints in here and load up the materials required to craft the missile. It then crafts it for you right in front of your eyes. Each missile also has 3 body parts, and the cool thing is you can mix and match. So you could have a really strong thruster and then like a really pathetic head if you wanted to. The navigation is also really cool. It works by using a Minecraft map where you have to manually click and set the location, which means you can pick exactly where your missile lands, and you can stay well away from the blast zone. Additionally, I think the way this mod handles the missile crafting is also really cool. Making use of these blueprints means you could hypothetically create your ideal missile, and then it would be really easy to automate the process, as all you need to do is to feed the materials into the arms. On top of that, this mod also gives you a bunch of options for really cool missile heads. They aren't necessarily all just explosives. My personal favorite has got to be this teleporter one that uses an ender pearl head to teleport you where the missile lands. This means you can essentially pick on a map where you want to be dropped and watch as the rocket delivers you there. I usually dislike mods that focus on military or weapons, but for this one it's so underrated and so well done, I feel like I have to give it an A tier. Shipped is a mod that adds a bunch of variants to existing building blocks, and I include it in almost every modded playthrough I do. It's such a good tool for texturing and gives you so many options. Create Shipped is literally just an extension for both mods that integrates the Create mod building blocks to Shipped. Now basically every build I do has a bunch of blocks from Shipped. It's a really easy and reliable way to make your builds look a lot nicer, and I will say this mod definitely does a good job at bringing that to the Create mod stones. My criticism for this mod, however, is the fact that I think it could do with a few more blocks. I appreciate that the developer has gone through and done all the Create mod stones, but it would have been really cool to see some variants on blocks like casings, or even functional blocks like shafts or pipes, or even fluid tanks. Sometimes building in Create can feel a bit monotonous because all of your contraptions look pretty similar, so having options like this would be so good. Maybe I'm setting my expectations too high though. I get what this mod is going for, I just think it misses the mark a little. See ya. Pneumatic equipment adds a bunch of new air-powered tools to the Create mod, a pickaxe, an axe, some armor, and an arrow launcher. It also adds vents, which now let you pump air into pipes. Also, you can use this thing that allows you to refill your back tank without taking it off. This is actually a pretty useful feature. The jetpack I use in my survival series relies on air like a back tank, so being able to fill it up without taking it off would actually be pretty amazing. I would say I kind of have a problem with every other aspect of this mod though. The armor pieces give you buffs, the boots let you fly, and the leggings give you speed and jump boost. The problem is you're not able to turn the rocket boots feature off, so you can't really jump normally, and additionally when you're off the ground, you lose your leggings buffs. This means your FOV is constantly changing because you're constantly getting and re-getting speed. The pickaxe and axe are technically faster than netherite, however they make this really annoying and off-putting sound when you use them, which makes them really hard to use. Finally, the arrow launcher is the only one that looked promising at the start. It's like a crossbow that you don't need to charge up, and it also lets you use tipped arrows, which is pretty cool. But then it crashed my game. That's when it stopped being pretty cool. Also, this was the strangest crash I've ever seen. Like, it somehow killed me in creative mode, but I wasn't able to press respawn, and then when I relogged and logged back into my world, my game crashed. So for forcing me to create a new world, I'm giving it a D tier. So, not gonna lie, when I first saw this add-on, I thought it was gonna work like the Extractinator from Terraria, where you put in some gravel and it would turn into some random bits or pieces, like maybe some iron ingots or some zinc nuggets or something like that. Turns out I was very wrong. Create Gravel Extractors adds these extractors that allow you to straight up turn gravel into a bunch of ores and other materials. This obviously causes major progression problems. That's the main problem with this mod, but there are also a bunch of others. Firstly, it's a Create add-on technically, but the gravel extractors don't actually require any rotational force or anything to use. You can still use conveyor belts with them, but they're kind of gimmicky. However, using them by hand is not much easier either, because you can only convert one piece of gravel at a time, so it becomes like this really weird mouse flicking game. If you use one of the upgraders, you can increase this to 2, but like that almost, in my opinion, makes things worse, because it means that this annoying ass menu navigation was actually an intended feature. I'm also personally not the biggest fan of some textures, and the recipes in this mod seem a little unnatural. Like, you can craft the number 1. Some ores like the diamond and netherite generators give you nuggets instead of the ores itself, as I assume a balancing feature. But this also makes no sense, because A, it doesn't really make make it that much less overpowered, and B, it's like really inconsistent. Like for some reason you need 81 nuggets to craft 1 diamond, but it only takes 5 to craft 1 netherite. I mean, I guess the ancient debris needs to be crafted into netherite ingots, but still. If I was to balance this mod, I think I'd make the extractors have a chance at producing their respective materials instead of just spitting one out every single time, and also make them require some stress. This one might have to go in the D tier. I can't believe under 1,000 people have seen this masterpiece. Create Pibblefield adds a little pug to your game. He doesn't actually do that much, but he's cool, he can hang. He's also got different variants too, like you can make a big Pibble and you can also make a Pibble with an M16. Just the usual. In order to craft Pibblefield, you need to actually assemble his organs, and then you'll be rewarded with the Pibble item, which squeaks when you click him. After combining him with a capsule, you're now able to release his true potential. This item is actually technically post Ender Dragon because it requires this new ore, which is allegedly found in the end, although I couldn't find it. No need to worry though, because the mod accounts for this and actually gives you a recipe with endstone. I tried making the Pibbles fight the Ender Dragon, but they didn't really do anything. I think this mod fits perfectly in the... oh yeah, the Pibblefield tier.